So if anyone tells you you can't do something like this by yourself, it's always heavier than you think it's going to be. You just tell them you're probably a lot smarter than I am. Definitely 2 hands recommended. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we're working through a renovation on this 1956 Calcraft. If you're a regular viewer, you might have noticed that we've been off for a couple of weeks. We took 1 week to go to Colorado with our 1968 Playmore 140 that we finished in season 1, and had a little bit of a vacation in the mountains. And then that turned into an extra week of recuperation from the vacation. So anyway, we're ready to get back at it. I need to get these walls up on here. I've got some ideas on how to do that. Basically, you put them on. That's how it works. But I'm gonna need to have some cross braces to get them 90 degree and get them spaced right. And it's you know, it's a process, but we're gonna get it done. So I guess it's probably a lot of different ways I could continue to restate what I'm going to do to avoid having to actually do it, but at some point I guess I'll have to actually do it, so I guess I should do it. So when I lift it up here, it's actually going to sit on these little pieces of frame that are poking out from there. And then I'm going to drill through the wall into this joist, plate, whatever. I'm going to drill through to this piece of wood that's running all the way there. I mean, obviously not here where the wheel is, but this here piece of steel is going to support it, so I don't really have to worry about, you know, getting it positioned that way. I just need to worry about how far forward or backward the wall goes. And then of course I have to match that with the other wall. Okay, so here's the thing. That's going to have to sit up on here and be secured in some way to keep it from falling off. And the easiest way to do that is to tack a board to the deck, put a angled piece up and attach it through this side of the window and another one up there at the front side of that window. That'll keep it from flopping down like this, and then I can go back and tack it through along the bottom of the deck right here. Now interestingly, one thing that I learned, there is a time when using nails versus using screws is the more appropriate option. And in situations where earthquake resistance is important, nails are actually more beneficial than screws, because when you put a nail into something, that nail can actually bend and still hold into that. A screw, where they are meant to be harder material than a nail so that they don't torque apart when you try to screw them into something, they don't have as much flexibility this way, and it doesn't really take very much to snap them, and then you have no holding power at all. If you want proof of that, there's a bunch of YouTube videos where people show like hammering a nail into something and knocking it over versus hammering a screw to it. It's kind of interesting. I never really thought about that before. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use some bolts through the bottom plate of the wall into the deck, just like they did originally. And then I'm also going to nail it, just like they did originally. I don't know, if I'm feeling extra special, maybe I'll put some screws in it too. But the first trick is actually getting it up onto the deck. So my talking is just a way to avoid the inevitable. So I'm sure you're asking, why don't you just get some help doing that? Why don't I? Just want to make things more difficult, I guess. But anyway, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my board down on my deck in such a way that I can run the other end of the board out through one of the windows, so that when I lift it up there, I can just screw it in real quick, hold it into place, and I think I'll be okay. So if anyone tells you you can't do something like this by yourself, you just tell them you're probably a lot smarter than I am. Definitely 2 hands recommended. But I went ahead and put screws in all along the side just to hold it in place for now. I'll come back with nails once I go to the hardware store and buy some. But now I'm just going to get my framing square and adjust my diagonal pieces to make sure that I've got the wall nice and vertical, and I guess we'll do the other wall. Gonna do it one more time. Way down below, it's a lot of woe, and that's not a place where you would like to go. I've got cigarettes and brandy, which could come in handy if you just help me loosen up my hand grenades fuse. Baby, don't refuse my truth, but it's up to you not to choose. I want you to stay true. What's right for you, no matter who, oh, and know what will others say. Just find your way and try to stay true. Folks, if you were wondering, some 4-letter words may be used in the production of this video. Okay, so before I tack the bottom plate down, I want to go through and measure, because I made some marks on these so that I could line them up properly. I just marked across the bottom, so I'm going to measure from the front of the deck to one of those marks and make sure it's the same on both sides. I'm not going to film that because, I don't know, it's... As luck would have it, the measurements were identical. Whew, so there you have it. It's got some walls on it. Honestly, that was easier than I thought it was going to be, especially doing it by myself. One thing I realized in the process of doing this is that I'm missing some stuff called welting, which is actually what goes between the wall and the ceiling. And when I say missing, I mean I have forgotten to order it, so I'm going to have to try and track some down. Hopefully it'll get here pretty quick. Last time I ordered it, it was on Amazon, so it was pretty easy to get here. But for right now, my next step is just going to be to shore these up a little more in case we get some wind, and I can go ahead and drop my wheel wells in where they're supposed to be and mark them, so I can take them over to Jake and get him to cut that curve out, so we're all good to go there. So yeah, there's a lot of things to get moving on, which I should do. got a corn dog and fries. Order up. So these carriage bolts are going to go through both the wall and the deck and tie that all together. So that was really what originally drew the two halves together nice and securely, and then the nails provided kind of backup. And I've put screws in here, so these aren't as critical, but these are very, very tough to break. So I'm still going to go ahead and use them. They had 3 on each side. They weren't exactly spaced the same, so I'm just going to hit them kind of close to where they were originally and run them through, tighten them up, and we should be good. Okay, just tighten these up and we're good. Just do that 4 more times and then put some nails in. Okay, with those carriage bolts in, I'm just gonna get some regular common nails, some nice stout ones, and drive them through along here just to make sure there is that extra bit of holding power, because that's mostly what holds the wall to the actual trailer, and if that goes, everything else goes with it. Okay, just do that all the way around. It's a little humid out here. Whew. Look what showed up a week early. It's the welting. I actually ordered this on Amazon. A lot of people ask where I can get it from, where you can get it from. Let me kind of. So this is cove welting, so it's designed to kind of look like cove molding. Some people say you put this on to minimize squeaking inside, but really you put it on because there's no way you can fill that gap between the ceiling and the wall without it breaking loose or something like that. So you need something like this that's kind of a vinyl material that's going to stay flexible. So anyway, I got it. So I can get my ceiling material, which I still need to do, and start cutting it to size and get it ready to go in place. Now I know a lot of people say, well, you need to put the cabinets. It's walls up, cabinets in, kind of at the same time, then you move on to the ceiling. And so we're going to see about that. I might wind up doing a combination of that, but there are a few other things I have to get ready on here before I can start putting the ceiling material on. It all kind of goes in together, but whew, I am sweaty. It is like 1,000,000% humidity out here. Thanks for watching. Big changes are coming. Remember, new videos come out every Sunday, so make sure and like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.